Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. It is over. Tax day is now behind us. If this is a realization moment for you, then you missed tax day. Now, I'm not the IRS. I don't typically care if you have completed your taxes or not, but you should have done them already. If this is a wake-up call, like, oh no, I haven't done that. That super important thing where you can be in very, very big trouble if you don't actually end up completing them. I hope this is not a realization that you have not done them. But I hope that you have, because you're supposed to. And it means you're a good citizen to do them. So hopefully y'all did, that you were all able to get through them smoothly, swimmingly, not a lot of issue. I think I started doing mine in February, actually, and I just finished them a couple days ago. You might ask why. Well, I have a story to tell you. Usually I'm a guy who likes to jump ahead of things. So I decided, you know what? Let me do my taxes early. That way I could be done with it, because it doesn't take me very long to do it, but I don't want to have to put it off until last minute and, have to do it at the very end of the last minute, So I started it. This is back in February, and I used TurboTax last year to do them, and I got scammed. I'll be honest. I actually ended up getting scammed into paying to have my taxes done. Apparently, you don't need to do that. You don't have to pay at all. And that actually baffled me. I had no idea that you didn't have to pay. I thought you had to pay no matter what. So I'd done some research. By research, I asked my family. I said, hey, guys, what the hell do you do for your taxes? Who do you file with? I asked my sister. She said, well, I used Turbo last year, but I didn't pay. I was like, how the hell did you not pay? She said, when they ask you if you want to upgrade, you say no. And I was like, what are you talking about? You have to upgrade to submit them. She said, no, if you read it, you'll see that you do not have to upgrade. I was like, oh, you know what? I guess I'm that dumb. I don't read the fine print of anything. So I've been, for the past few years, have been paying to send away my taxes to get the Tax Plus package. And I have been taking away from my return to pay for my taxes to be sent away when you don't even have to. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do that this year. So I'm, back in February, I'm trying to do it. I'm all motivated, right? I'm gonna get it done. I log into good old TurboTax. I sign in, and I kid you not, it would not let me not pay to send my taxes to the IRS. Every single option that I was given, everything, every window that popped up, every page that popped up said I had to pay some type of package to get my taxes submitted. And I don't know if you guys know me all that well. I've only been podcasting for about over 4 years now, but I'm if I can avoid paying for anything, I'm going to do it, because it's a win for me. I don't want to have to pay if I don't need to. That's kind of silly, don't you think? So I'm like searching, I'm perusing the internet, I'm Googling. How the hell do I not pay to submit my taxes? Because this is outrageous. Now, to be fair, I'm not getting the deluxe premium accurate package from TurboTax, right? I'm not trying to get that. I don't need that, right? I'm a simple guy. My taxes are not that complicated. I don't have any foreign crap. I don't have any credits. I don't even know what that is. So I filling my things out is super simple. I don't really need that much help, you know? So I was looking and I Googled it. Hey, do I need to pay to have TurboTax? And everything that was coming up was just links to the packages, links to the assistance to get help doing your taxes via AI on TurboTax. And I was like, this isn't helping me whatsoever. This is just giving me giving me the plans that I have to use this service. So I'm like, okay, well, TurboTax is not for the people. It's not for me. So maybe that's it. I didn't even have my sister, who's very smart, look into this. I'm like, hey sis, I need your help. I don't know how to not pay for my taxes. Can you help me out? So she was perusing. She looked it up, looked into it, even did like a dummy setup and do it herself type of thing. And she wasn't able to bypass the packages either. So now I'm thinking like, whoa, TurboTax is probably in the gutter right now, and they need us to pay for us to, for them to, I guess, exist or something. I don't know what it was that it would not allow me to not have to pay for my taxes. I had done them all. I went through every single thing, imported my number, put in this code, put in that code, put all my information in, which takes a while because you want to read everything. I know I wasn't reading pretty much everything in full detail the past few times I've done it, but when they ask you the questions about yourself, your status, you want to be as true as possible. As true as possible. So, you don't want the FBI knocking on your door or like just not knocking down, your front door and just rushing you and then taking you to jail because you didn't check a box properly when you filed your taxes. That would be not the way to go, right? That would be a terrible thing to experience. You know that scene in Transformers when Anthony Anderson's character is like doing some hacker shit with that one pretty girl that's also a hacker for the government on like the Transformers and where they're keeping the other Transformers, like the Sector 7 place. when they track him, like he's doing something he shouldn't be, the FBI just boom breaks into his house. Like, FBI, I always have that fear that could be a possibility if I click the wrong check the wrong box on my taxes when I'm filing them. They make it so it's like you need to be 100% accurate on this. If not, you're going to jail. That's at least how I feel, right? Now, I would hope that those softwares that they use for that are there's no bugs or whatever that would prevent that from even happening or whatever. Luckily, I haven't had that issue, and I've been doing my taxes for a long, long time, so I have no issue with that. I'm okay with that. But of course, I'm searching for options. I don't want to pay at all. And you know what? I'll be honest. TurboTax is a slick service. It's slick. It's nice. It's neat. It's appealing to look at. It's much easier to view to my eye than like H&R Block was. The only problem was H&R Block is free. So I ended up filing my taxes on H&R Block. Now, this is not a sponsored podcast. If I was going to gas up um, H&R Block, if they were going to pay me to gas them up, I would have had this weeks ago. But, since they don't, they're just talking about it now. I had to pay absolutely nothing when it came to H&R Block. Nothing, not a cent. It was tremendous. And I did everything quickly. I knew how to submit it all. It was easy to import the W-2 into the software. You remember the days when you could not import your W-2? You had to fill out every single little box on the tax form, right? You had to fill it out by hand or even by computer, but you had to fill it all out. There was no import. There was no import number on your taxes back then. It was one of the worst things you could ever do. Tedious. You didn't want to make a single mistake. You didn't want to make any errors. Every address had to be to the T, because if you mess up, that's not your employer, you're going to jail. Or, that's not how much you made, you're off by 2 cents, you're going to jail. It's fear that was implemented into my mind at such a young age when I started doing my taxes. Like, I better not mess up. But you know what it is? It teaches you can't. There are certain things you can't mess up. Your taxes you can't mess up. That's something that you need to make sure you're on top of. And if all you got to do is fill out a W-2, or just provide your W-2, and that's pretty much the easiest way you can go. Now, if you got other things like credits and all that, like I said, dependents, and that gets a little bit trickier. But for the most part, if you're just a simple guy like me, it doesn't take much. Even though you still want to make sure everything's correct. Because if it ain't, they we come knocking at your door. Like, hey, hands up. Like, what? What did I... It had too many errors in your taxes. You're taking you in. No, you want to prevent that. No, that's never happened. Nor I don't think it's even possible for that to happen. At least when you use those softwares. H&R Block likes to have this funny little animation to see how accurate your taxes are, where an arrow will be shot and it will land in a bullseye. And if you get the bullseye animation, that means you're all good. A-okay. You're fine. Now, I've had a couple times where it's like, this is inaccurate. You are in trouble. Now, thankfully, you just got to go back, reread the question, change a few things, make sure everything's correct, and then you should be good. I always still have a fear, though, either irrational fear that I'm going to be locked up because I got some number incorrect. It's a fear that I think that most sane people will have. No one wants to go to jail for something silly like not doing your taxes. If you can imagine that. I can't. It'd be kind of embarrassing. You're just there in the cell, handcuffed, just kind of waiting there. Some guy, face tat, is like looking all mean and shit. He's got a toothpick in his mouth hanging out, not even using it, just there for intimidation purposes. It's like, they get you for. And you're like, you don't want to look at him because you're intimidated by the way he looks. The toothpick is just hanging out of his mouth. It should have fallen by now, but it hasn't. For the grace of God, it's just there. You're like, I messed up on my taxes, and now I'm here trying to get a bail. If you just give me a minute. Like, okay. I don't want to have that experience ever. Jail is something that, in my eyes, heavily feared. Heavily, heavily feared. You see some funny shows, sitcoms, regular shows, whatever. Maybe the character goes to jail for something, right? And it's always like, playful. It's a TV show. It's a joke. It isn't real, right? But could you actually imagine, like, you actually get in trouble for something? Whatever that may be. Some kind of silly thing, little mishap, you end up in jail. Could you imagine jail? That's not something that you would ever want to imagine yourself in jail. That's something that you just cannot picture. I can't picture that. I wouldn't want to. It sounds terrifying. Bad people, robbers, thieves. It's the same thing essentially, but um, killers, abusers, vandalists, a bunch of bad people, right? Being in jail. Oh my God, I think I would die. But you know what? That's the thing is like, I am an okay person in my mind because I know that jail is not somewhere it's not somewhere where I would want to be. It just isn't. So that's why I don't steal shit or break the law or speed. Now I don't know if you could go to jail for speeding. Maybe if you keep doing it after they suspend your license, you'll be in the clank. But like, I typically don't do anything that's going to get me in trouble like that because I'm scared of going to jail. I think that's what makes me a solid citizen. Is like, I understand that my actions have repercussions. Like if I'm going to shoplift, if I'm going to graffiti, if I'm going to, God forbid, jaywalk, jail is probably where I'm going to go if I do end up getting caught, which I never have in my life done either of those things. So, like, it's always like a fear. There was one time when I was very, very young and I was doing something that I should not have been doing. And it was something that, today could be looked frowned upon. It also could be something that's like, whatever. It wasn't that bad. Relax. As long as you didn't get caught, I was one night extremely late, right? Maybe about like 1 o'clock in the morning. A couple of buddies of mine didn't have like the best, I guess maybe not the best mindset towards somebody, right? We weren't like, we didn't like this person a whole lot. It was someone that we were just like, this guy, man, I just can't stand him. We just got to do this. This is, why not? We'll be fine. As long as we don't get caught, we'll be all right. And like I said, we're very, very, very young, right? Immature, stupid, wasn't our best intentions. It wasn't part of our character back then. I couldn't even see myself doing it now because of how stupid and dumb it was. It was just not a good decision. It really wasn't. So we had planned this whole thing where we would the day before we would go to the store, get some supplies. We would be like, well, no, we got to get this. We got not super expensive, right? We had to go cheap because we just didn't want to spend that much money on something that was going to be used only one time. So we went to the store, multiple stores actually, just to find the right one. And then the night of, we decided, better off we go late, like very, very, very late. That way we won't get caught at all by anybody. And whenever this is just like the fear that just kind of seeps into you when you're about to do something that you should not do at a time where you think that you're in the clear, but also at a time where you feel like any wrong move, any loud noise, anything that's unnatural, like stone left untouched or whatever, or turned over, that shouldn't have been, could get you into big trouble. Like really big trouble, right? So we decided we're going to TP this kid's house. Terrible thing to do. Terrible. One of the most annoying things to clean up. Toilet paper in the trees, on the house, over the cars, bushes, grass. If you got big trees, good luck, right? So that was our crime, sort of, essentially, TPing a kid's house when we were kids. There was a whole setup. We got a bunch of stuff. We decided we threw it high in his trees. We threw it high, like he was not gonna get this at all. His dad couldn't get this at all. His mom was gonna be furious, And we just wrapped that whole house with toilet paper. Through it all, used every single one of it. It was not a good thing to do. And when you're out there like that in the field, TPing at another kid's house at 1 in the morning, where like no one's awake, but you feel like anyone can wake up at any time because no one's making any noise. So like one bad step, one loud giggle, one swear word, or one word that's a little too loud was going to wake the entire neighborhood, essentially. Because as much as we believe that our houses protect us from the outside sounds, I mean, how many times can you guys hear like a lawnmower from like 3 houses down outside in your house? Probably a lot, right? More than you would like to. So just imagine us, right, outside this kid's house, TPing his house, right? We're dumb kids. We're going to giggle. We're probably going to laugh a little bit. Going to chatter, say, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And then like sprint home, right? Our shoes just like slamming on the concrete or the asphalt. Like, I mean, panting, breathing heavily, just talking is like, it sets a fear into you. Like anything we do, any misstep, we're done for. We're done. We're going to be in trouble. Might get the cops called on us. We're going to jail. That all seeps in. So that was like one of the most, like, when you're a kid, like the most wildest experiences of all time that you can go through. But it's fun. But it's also not good. When I look back on it now, I'm like, damn, I was a piece of shit. I shouldn't have done that. That was so stupid. I've even had that happen to me when I was young. Like, oh, someone got me. Shit. You look out, your dad wakes you up like, hey, get up. I'm like, what? Someone TP'd the house. I'm like, for Christ's sake. And then when you get TP'd, it also ain't a very good feeling. So there's a feeling of going to jail when you're doing it to someone else's house, and a fear of like, if we make one mistake, we're done. Now, luckily, that never happened. We got away with it every time we did it. But when you are on the receiving end of it, it is a not a good feeling. It is a feeling of like, who hates me? That is exactly the feeling when you get TP'd. It's like, what did I do? You don't even know how to react to it. You don't know how to accept it. You're thinking to yourself like, oh my God, they got me so good. And like, how did they get away with it? I didn't hear shit. I couldn't hear a thing. How come there's no cops? Do I need to file a report? Now, luckily, most of the times in my childhood, when I was TP'd, it was only toilet paper. So it was an easy cleanup. A couple times were a little bit harder than others. I remember one time they got my house so good that it looked like my house was an actual ghost. It was insane. I could not believe it. I mean, it was a kind of a breezy morning, so you just saw the toilet paper just blowing in the wind, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta clean this whole thing up. This is insane. How could they get... You almost cannot believe it, that someone would do this to your house. It's like, damn, this person must hate me. And you never really find out who it is either. You never really find out. Because your friends will just say, nah, it wasn't me. I didn't hear about that. I was asleep. And I don't believe that any of my actual friends today, who I grew up with, actually did it to my house. In fact, I wasn't the most popular kid in school, so I'm like, who the hell knows where I live? Who knows my address? How do they know that I'm here? That this is where I live? But I also grew up with siblings. And I was the oldest of 4, and they're all 2 years apart. So I'm the oldest. The second youngest, the one below me is 2 years younger. The one below that one is 2 years younger than that one. And the one below that one, the youngest, is 2 years from the third youngest, second youngest. I don't even know, but we're not that far apart in age. So we all went to the same school district as well. So like we knew a lot of people, and a lot of people knew us, and each of my siblings knew a lot of people. So I mean, I guess I could have expected it could have been any of their friends or one of their enemies. What do they call them now? Their ops. That's what the kids say now. My op. I did not know what that meant either when I heard that for the first time. I'll be honest with you. Someone was like, "Who's your?" I guess like my ops. Like, what the hell does that even mean? Like operation, like black ops. It's like, no, my opposition. It's like, oh, your enemies. And I was like, you know what? I usually hate a lot of modern day slang. I usually do. Modern day, like, oh man, I don't even know what's a slang term now. Riz, I guess, is still kind of one. But then it went to aura, so maybe I'm a little bit behind on the slang. But ops is kind of one that was also on the internet that I saw. And I'm like, ops. Opposition. I kind of like that. I don't know what it is, but it does have a little bit of a punch, which I like. You know, your opposition is like, the opposition kind of means it feels a little bit more serious, I guess. You know, when you're talking about somebody who's against you. Enemy, don't get me wrong, is like life or death, right? Your enemy. But op, it just kind of cuts deeper, I think. I don't know what it is, but it's a much tighter word, which I don't really mind, I'll be honest. But that might be like my favorite like modern day slang that I'm like, all right, that one hits. That one I can kind of get behind. I don't feel as weird saying that. In fact, I think it's kind of cool that that is a slang word. But yeah, getting TP'd versus TPing. One instance doing the TPing. You scared? Your heart's pumping. You're probably running more than you ever have in your life at that point. Certainly maybe the fastest you've ever run, right? Running away from the house after you TP it, looking back, and you're like, oh yeah, I did that. But I gotta get home, or else I might go to jail. I might get caught and I'll end up in prison, you know? Then I'm cooked, right? You know what? That's a good one too, cooked. I kind of like that one. He's cooked. That one is all right. You know, at first I didn't really care, but now I'm like, that one's all right. That's not that bad. And then there's getting TP'd, which is well, it's a bad feeling. I'll be honest. It's not a good feeling. You're like at that point you're kind of scared for your own safety. It's like, oh my god, who knows I live here? How do they find out? What do I do now? What's my next move? Do I do some investigation? Do I just play it off, go back to school, like, what's up, guys? How was your weekend? Mine was great. Hey, how about this homework assignment that we got? Now they're going to be like, I heard your house got TV. They're like, whoa. By who? Then you're like, well, I mean, I don't know. You know, I just saw it was. I'm like, how did you know? You know, and this whole cycle of like, what is, you know, are you on my side or are you not on my side? You know, that all kind of goes into, you know, your thoughts. And you're just like, I don't even know who to trust anymore. But then you get over it. You know, then you grow up and you look back on it and you're like, what a silly time. Now, also, I never egged a house. My house was egged one time. It was egged one time, and that was not cool. That was not cool. That's like more on the vandalizing part. That isn't really so much of like, toilet paper is, it gets everywhere, but it's so harmless when it comes to the cleanup. It's just picking up paper. Not too bad. When it's wet, yeah, it's a little bit harder, but it's not like going to damage anything like paint-wise, right? Egging your house, egging a garage, a car, that's different. That's on the verge of vandalism. If not, it is vandalism, and that's not going to be an easy cleanup for you, and it's not going to be one that is a pleasant one either. It's probably going to stink quite a bit. But moving on, last week, I don't know if you could tell, but I was kind of in denial of being a little like either sick or under the weather. I don't really necessarily know exactly what it was. It might have been a sickness, but it also might have been but it also could have been allergies. I really don't know what it was. It was all in my head though. Sneezy, sniffly, nasal drippage, mucus in the throat. All upper body. Not even not like my lungs or anything like that. I wasn't like danger of not being able to breathe, but definitely wasn't a good time. And then as I was recording last week's podcast, I had gotten worse and worse as it went on. So it was quite the battle, but I am back. I am better. I am pretty much 100%. Just didn't really know what that was. And when you don't really know what it is, so you kind of have to do a double whammy of medication. I started off taking Claritin, and that kind of helped. And then I realized that it might not be that, so I hit it with a double whammy. Now, I don't know if this is good for you or not, but I did it, and it kind of worked. I'd do a Claritin, and then I would do a Dayquil, and then I felt 100% better. I'm like, oh, so I guess maybe I am sick, because if one's not working, then the other must be, So, I kind of moved on and went from there. And then when when I had the day off the next day, and I was still kind of feeling a little crappy, I decided to tranquilize myself. So I just took a NyQuil and went to bed. Woke up super refreshed, super energized, feeling better. Not completely out of it yet, but I definitely think that night of the NyQuil really helped me out. Just kind of like re-energize myself. And typically what I like to do is not any of that. I'm not a huge medicine guy. I don't like to take medicine because I feel like I'm tough enough to get past it. So normally what I used to do is I would just go to the gym and go on the treadmill for like an hour and sweat it out, whatever it is. I always feel like I could just beat it out of my system because, man is king, right? So I didn't do that this time. I thought about it, but I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to be normal. I'm going to go home. I'm going to rest. I'm going to sleep, take some medicine, take an emergency, get some electrolytes, some fluids, and hopefully get better. And I actually did. Thank God. And, it only took about a week to fully recover, but I'm back. Never been better. So I don't know what it was. And I don't care either. I don't care. There was people at work that were much sicker than I was. And I mean much, much sicker. Like, I'm talking flu, stomach flu, like really, really bad stuff that was happening to these people. And I was like, I actually, knock on wood, avoided the worst of it. And I snuck by with just a little head cold, whatever it was. Didn't miss a day of work, right? Didn't miss a single day, and was able to power through. And I think that, had I gotten a stomach bug, dude, I would have been put out and I would have been miserable my entire time sick. You guys know this about me. I absolutely hate throwing up. Throwing up is a fear of mine. I don't like throwing up. I don't plan to ever throw up again. It's not because I'm insane and I'm like, I'm just not going to throw up. No, it's just like, I do all I can to avoid throwing up. I try not to eat anything that's going to upset my stomach. I make sure all my food is cooked. I make sure it's, within the, especially like with meats, like in the expiration date, in the window, right? If it smells funny, I will not consume it. And I just try not to overeat is really what will get me. At least in the past it would. That would make my stomach turn. But in terms of like combinations of food, I'm not so worried about that. A lot of people like to avoid like spicy foods with like like milk or something like that, I don't really care. Like I'll have like a glass of milk with like pretty much anything that I eat. That stuff like normally does not make me actually like vomiting sick. It just makes me have to go to the restroom, respectfully. And it's not even that bad, if I'm being honest. It's just okay. It's not really something that's going to like make me want to vomit. I kind of know what will make me vomit. Um, Overdoing it with alcohol, which I don't really drink anymore, so it's like I don't really got to worry about that a whole lot. That's not an issue for me. Um, and just getting unlucky with food. The last time I really got sick, last time I actually threw up was when I was in college. I went to a burger place with my buddy that we loved so much. We've been there many times before that. Many times. I loved every single time. But one time I went and I got a burger that tasted tremendous. Went down the hatch. Perfect. Incredible. Went home. Went to bed. The next morning, vomiting. Multiple times. Stomach bug. Terrible. Haven't gone to that place since. Would like to go back if it's still around. I haven't been in that part of town in a while. But I would love to go and see if it's actually still there. But I do know that place did give me food poisoning. And it was not great. It was not great. That was the last time I actually did throw up. There was a time that I actually came close to it, but did not. I succeeded. My mental state won over my body. My mentality won over my body. My vow won over my body. And it was when I had Chipotle chicken. I had Chipotle chicken in my burrito, along with some lettuce. So I don't really know what the root cause was. If it was the chicken itself, not fully cooked, giving me salmonella, or was it the lettuce, something else, norovirus, E. coli, I have no idea. But it wasn't a big dose of whatever it was. My stomach was cramping badly, hurting, and I almost felt like I had to throw up. But I forced myself to go to sleep. I woke up and was gone. And I was like, thank God. Whatever it was left my body. Whatever demon I had consumed that day, that beautiful day at Chipotle, no longer inside of me. Thank Christ. That was like the most recent time that I came close to throwing up. No, I lied. There's another time. But that was one of the recent times I came close to throwing up, like super close. The most recent, about 4 years ago. 4 or 5 actually. 4th of July, went crazy with the booze. I had like maybe 14 or 15 Budweisers that day at a friend's house. Slept on the couch. Didn't even know I went to sleep. Woke up. Head is throbbing, right? I'm a mess. I'm an absolute mess. I'm overweight as hell. I'm sweating. I stink. I look bad. I get up. I drive home, right? This is after I wake up, right? So I'm just hungover. I get home. I go to sleep, right? I knock out for a good couple hours. I wake up. Miraculously, I wake up. I feel terrible. I feel absolutely terrible. And I felt like I've never had this feeling from alcohol in my entire life. But I felt like absolutely hurling all over the place. I go to the bathroom. I'm sitting on the toilet. I'm mentally like, you will not throw up. You will not throw up. I'm no longer hungover. I'm no longer drunk. I'm fully conscious of what's happening to my body. I'm starting to shake. When you are about to hurl, you start to shake. Your mouth gets very wet. You start to sweat, but you're kind of cold. It's like a cold sweat. You feel clammy. You feel sticky, slimy, disgusting. Upon the already filth that was on my body from the night before. Terrible. It was not a good look for me. Not a good look. I wouldn't recommend looking. Then I make a 180. Head in the toilet now. I'm sick to my stomach. And I dry heave about 4 times. Nothing comes out. Not a drop. Nothing. Not a chunk and not a drop. And then it passes. And then it goes away. I get in the shower. I wash the devil off of me. I go back to bed. I wake up again. That feeling is gone. My stomach is no longer in pain, no longer hurting. I no longer want to hurl. And it's gone. That was one of the most recent times where I had almost thrown up. I almost succumbed to the devil himself of throwing up. I almost succumbed. It almost happened. It was about to come out. But I had stopped myself. Dead in its tracks. Like, no. This ain't happening on my watch. But I did dry heave. So I don't know what that means. Is it like a simulation of throwing up where it kind of relieves the feeling of having something in your tummy that doesn't want to be there, but nothing came out? Dry heaved 4 times. Nothing came out. But I felt better though. So I don't know what that was. Why I felt that way. You know, how come that cured it? What is... I always feel like dry heaving is like something with your mind. Like you don't have anything in you, but you're sick and you need to get it out. But I know for the fact that I had a ton of booze in my tummy. And I was like, yo, I'm poisoned. I need to get this out. I mean, I don't think I actually was poisoned, but like definitely more alcohol than what should have been in my body, you know? But yeah, I guess it kind of like cured myself. Maybe it was like what I needed to do. You know, maybe my brain had to be tricked into that I actually did throw up and I dry heaved, and it kind of cured itself. Because after I did that, I felt like I had blown chunks and now it was relieved, but nothing came out. It was a weird feeling. Totally no other way to describe it, but like it was like kind of a victory. Like I had to throw up and I knew it was going to happen. That's why I made that 180 on the toilet. And I'm like, I'm ready. Here we go. I'm about to lose. No, nothing. Nothing, but I did feel better. I guess that's all that really matters, is that I did feel better. I won. But I don't know. You know, maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's like a thing behind dry heaving that is like, you know, no one wants to go through it, obviously, but I guess it kind of makes it so you don't really throw up, but you kind of soothe the thing in your brain that is telling you you gotta expel whatever's in your body. I don't know. Last week when I was not feeling so great though, it was on a Thursday, I decided, you know, I'm gonna go home. I'm going to go home and I'm going to rest. I'm going to chill. I have the next day off. I'm going to chill. You know, I'm not going to work out. I'm not going to put myself through hell, you know, because I can't really breathe out of my nose all that great. I'll be honest. I'm kind of coughing a little bit. So, you know what? I'll just take a sick day and go home after work and just chill out. You know what I did? I did some old man shit. I did old man shit. I became a super old man this day. The Masters were going on. I'm not a huge golf guy, but I think I might be now. And I had realized that, the Masters is on. And then I saw the day one had ended. It already wrapped. Justin Rose was ahead by, I think, 3 strokes. Maybe more. I'm not too sure. But I turned on ESPN. And ESPN is cool because around 5 o'clock in the evening, they had a rerun of the Masters Day 1 in a trimmed up 3-hour, time frame airing of the Masters Round 1 Supercut. Now, not like a super highlight cut, but like a little bit of a sped up version of like the Masters and all the action that happened. So what did I do? I knew the results, but you know what I did? I sat there for 3 hours and watched a rerun of Day 1 at the Masters. I've never felt so old in my entire life. And you know what? It was great. It was fantastic. I was in it. I was watching it. And I think I'm gonna get into golf. I think I am. Ever since we played Top Golf at Los Angeles like a few weeks ago, I was like, that was really fun. And then I was watching the Masters, and I ended up watching a lot of the Masters. Rory McIlroy ended up winning it, and becoming the Masters championship. I didn't watch the full last day, but I was watching some of it, and it was a roller coaster. It was Rory McIlroy, it was Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Rose. I mean, it was getting tight, and then became McIlroy, and then Rose at the end, and then McIlroy ended up winning. I think I might be getting to golf. Now, this is, of course, just after me watching a lot of the Masters. This is after me just, watching golf and looking at how they swing the golf club and, like, how they do all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? This might be just a thing that's just kind of passing me by. This might be kind of maybe some, like, quarter-life crisis type of shit, Maybe I shouldn't act upon this yet. Then a couple days ago, I went shopping. I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I needed to buy some new shoes. I also got some new gym clothes as well. And, Dick's Sporting Goods is pretty freaking awesome, by the way. It's huge. It's humongous. It's got a lot of sports stuff. I found my shirt, my Under Armour shirt, my shorts that I wanted. Got some Nike shoes to wear. It was nice. But they have so many things over, at Dick's Sporting Goods, like from football, basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey, hiking. Dick's Sporting Goods has Blackstone griddles that you could buy at Dick's Sporting Goods. I have never seen that in my entire life. I never knew that Dick's Sporting Goods even had that. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention back then, but this time I went, they had a bunch of them. Just a lineup of them. I was like, that's cool. They also had fishing rods, bait, hooks. They had, of course, their shoe line. They had treadmills. They had workout gear, a bench, bars. And they have an entire section of golf. Drivers, wedges, putters, and I was like, whoa. And I looked at all that stuff, and it was so expensive. Oh my God. Golf bags are like at least $279 for a good one. Every club was like from the range from like $400 to $700, even more, some of them. A driver was like $1,000. I was like, whoa, Jesus Christ. Like I want to golf so bad, but this is a lot of money. But you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save up some money and just buy some golf clubs and just go to just start golfing. Now, and trust me, I've run through this in my brain a few times already. Like, hold on. But I really want to golf. Like, yeah, it looks so much fun. It does. And it looks like something that I could easily improve on. Maybe not easily, right? It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. But I think it's possible for me to get kind of good. At least to where I can play and have fun. I don't know. I just feel like I kind of caught the golf bug. I mean, I'm a 31-year-old man. I never thought in a million years that I would be interested in golf. If I'm being honest, I just never thought that. But after playing Top Golf, watching the Masters, seeing Rory McIlroy win, and then how close DeChambeau was, and seeing just how far these guys can swing that club and hit that ball and drive the ball. And I've done it before. Like I said, I played Top Golf. It's kind of fun. I don't know. It's like a relaxing sport too. You don't really got to move a whole lot. You don't really have to run that much. You don't got to be like super quick. You just got to hit the ball accurate, far, good pace. I mean, I like mini golf. If I like mini golf and I like Top Golf, then there's no reason I can't like regular golf, right? I don't know. I just was like, damn, what the hell is happening to me? Am I okay? I think I am, but like, I guess I just gotta embrace it, you know? So I don't know. Maybe I might actually get into golf. It's something that I've, never, like I said, never thought I would ever care about. But then here I am sitting on the couch watching the Masters, watching the entire rerun of something that already happened that day of, doing some real old man shit. And I'm like, whoa, what is the matter with me? How come I'm like this right now? Why do I just want to sit here and watch golf? So, but I didn't. I did not go against it. I acted upon it, and it was enjoyable. Maybe this is like my first steps into old manhood. I'm 31 years old. I'm not technically old, but I feel like this is some really old man shit. And you know what? A lot of people, celebrities, pro athletes, they all do these golfing conventions, these golfing tournaments, these golfing charity events and all that, right? And they're all like my age, maybe a bit older. Like Patrick Mahomes does it, Josh Allen, obviously Charles Barkley's a big golfer. Michael Jordan liked golf a lot. I mean, I see why people play it. I mean, I'm not gonna turn an eye and be like, how could anybody care about golf? How could anybody want to play golf? Well, after watching it and playing top golf, again, I haven't actually experienced real golf yet, but like, I think I might pursue it. Maybe not to go pro, but hey, you never know. What if I actually turn out to be a prodigy? What if I'm like one of the best golfers in the entire world that was never given the opportunity to show their full potential yet? There's always a possibility out there. I could be the next Tiger Woods, the next Rory McIlroy, the next Bryson DeChambeau. I could be one of those guys. I could be. No. I might act upon it though. I actually might. I'm considering acting upon it. I know my dad was telling me like, hey, we need to go to a driving range. Find the time, we'll go. And I'm like, oh hell yeah. Like I for real, like that sounds like a lot of fun. So I think I actually might act upon it and pursue it. Maybe not fully. Maybe not be like, I don't know, just try it out. Why not? Sounds like some fun. Before that though, before I really like dive into golf and like say I am about golf, this is me. I'm still like myself, I haven't changed that much. What if I start dressing like a golfer though? With my friend, would you guys be like, what the hell's going on? What is this? What are you going through? Are you okay? Do you need to see a doctor? I'll be honest, man. I mean, hey, time passes by, things change. Maybe I'm just entering my golfing era. You know how girls like to say, they like to use the word era a lot because of Miss Swift. Miss Taylor Swift used era. I don't know what for or when, or I don't even know why she used era, but era became a word that described a time in your life. Maybe this is like my golf era. Maybe this is the beginning. And it could be a very long era. We'll see. But I'm also still, I'm trying to get back into the movie era of my life. Getting back into going to movies and watching movies. But there hasn't been any that I want to see lately. But I think I'm going to make the time next week to go see Warfare. Warfare, to me, looks like a really good movie. A movie that I should probably see very quickly because I'm going to be taken out of theaters very soon. But a movie that nonetheless I do want to see. That would be worth my time, I think. From what I've heard, from what I've seen from it, it looks like a really good movie. That I would just, I mean, I'm a big war movie guy. That's like my shit. I love those movies. I hate war, but I love war movies. There's a big difference. I would love to see that. I wouldn't want to watch Minecraft. I was actually Someone at work told me, like, are you going to see Minecraft? I was like, no. She's like, you look like you would see Minecraft. I'm like, why? Do I look like a nerd? She's like, yeah, you kind of do. I'm like, oh my God. Well, I absolutely don't want to see Minecraft. Thank you very much. But I don't think I would ever see that in theaters. Minecraft. Not because of what it is, Minecraft. I don't care about that at all. I don't really care for Jack Black or Jason Momoa being in it either. But I mean, apparently theaters are freaking becoming like war zones over this freaking movie. Like, we thought it was bad when the Minions movie came out, when everybody was dressing up in tuxedos and making the movie going experience just terrible. But apparently, there are kids in these Minecraft movie theaters, in the screenings for Minecraft, that are bringing chickens, throwing popcorn, getting the cops called on them. Like, what the hell's going on? I've seen these videos online too. It's just insane. It's whenever Jack Black says chicken jockey in the movie, they just go crazy. And I'm just like, I mean, I could not imagine being in a theater, paying for to see a movie and have it get disturbed, interrupted by the cops being called on the kids in the theater. I mean, I would assume that these kids are getting grounded, punished for their actions, because this is just unacceptable, right? How are these kids able to go to this movie by themselves too? Are they all like really small? Like, who cares? You know, like, it's a chicken jockey, whatever. Calm down. Why are you throwing popcorn? And of course, people are going to see it online. One time, they're going to be like, let's do that in our theater. Why don't we do that? They have to probably have like the ushers like come into the theater at the moment when it's about to happen and just be ready in case some kids just want to act up and just throw popcorn all over the theater, right? All over the auditorium and just at the ready. Like, probably like a warning sign. If you throw popcorn, we will call the cops. Like, that could be a thing that's actually implemented because of this movie's run. But also, the movie has already grossed over $500 million, making it a $500 million profit in a short period of time. So, I mean, we can laugh at the movie. We could say it's a joke. We can say it's a meme. We can just say it's not good, whatever. It made a ton of money and is still making money. So, I mean, this is probably going to be Jared Hess's top grossing movie of all time. He's the director of Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. So, I mean, might be his biggest break ever. You know, I didn't even know he was still making movies up until now. But apparently he directed the Minecraft movie. So, you know, hey, brought back. You know, it's pretty awesome. So I want to get back into watching movies, though. It's just nothing that's been out yet. So I haven't really been excited to attempt to even go to a theater to go see a movie until Warfare. So I'm going to see Warfare. I plan to next week. Hopefully I can have a review up for you guys because that movie does look really cool. And no, I will not be seeing a Minecraft movie. Give me a break. And there was one more thing I wanted to talk about really quickly. Just a thought I had in my mind. And I brought it up at dinner one time with my family. And I was like, guys, we're all, Roman Catholic. We are. What if, though? What if there was no... What if there was no Christianity? What would we believe in? Would it be Judaism? Islam? What would we believe in? I was like, I don't know what we would believe in. Or would we be pagans? Would we still believe in like Zeus and Apollo and Athena, like the ancient Greeks did? Will we believe in Mars and Jupiter, like the Romans did? Will we believe in like Horus and Anubis, like the Egyptians did? What would we believe in if there was no Christianity? Let's just say that there was no big three religions, right? No Judaism, no Christianity, no Islam. What would we believe in? I don't even know. I'd be like, what if we actually believed in the Greek gods still? Wouldn't that be sick? Like, I love being Roman Catholic, I do. But what if we actually believed in multiple gods? Could you even fathom that? Could you fathom believing in like 10 gods? I don't know how many they have, but like maybe multiple gods? We would say, by gods, oh my gods, gods, please. Like, that'd be kind of wild, right? That'd be kind of be like, you'd have to be like, well, who do I pray to? Who do I worship? Like, what kind of holidays we got here? I mean, like, what if we didn't even believe in the Greek gods? What if it was the Roman gods or the Egyptian gods? Like, would we even be in America? What would happen? I have no idea. But it's just a thought that I had. Like, what if there was? What if the religions we believe in, the big ones, the most popular ones today in the Western world, right? Christianity, Judaism, Islam. What if those just did not exist? What would we believe in? It'd be kind of cool to believe in Zeus, though. It'd be kind of cool. Thunder, lightning. What was he? The god of lightning? God of thunder? God of all gods? I don't know what he was. I know Thor was the god of thunder. I think Zeus was just like the almighty god. But the god of the gods, right? I think. And I don't know if this is just like in like an American spin on it. But like Zeus is like the lightning guy with the lightning bolt. That might be just an Americanization of him. Speaking of an Americanization, I also found out like maybe 10 years ago, but I thought I'd share this with you guys now. The cartoon movie Hercules is a sham. Maybe not in what the mythological character, mythological person did, but the name is completely not accurate. And where he's from. In the cartoon, at least, he's in Greece. So his name should be Heracles, not Hercules. Hercules is the Roman name of Heracles. Isn't that bizarre? Weird? I've been lied to for years. I thought Hercules was Greek, the name at least. It's Heracles. Hercules is Roman. That's just a big... Like, why would you do that? What's the purpose? Because it sounds cooler? Kind of does sound cooler. But Heracles is really the Greek name of Hercules, which is Roman. That's fucking wild. Why would they do that to us? Why would Disney go about and just lie like, oh, Hercules from Greece? Not true. It was Heracles. Like, totally not true. That story's probably urban legend, a myth, mythology, Greek mythology, right? But like, unbelievable. The name is not even correct. It's not even the right name. It's not even the right language. What the hell are we doing? Saying he's Greek. Get the hell out of here. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today, people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, and do all that good stuff. And yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next week.